Around the clock. Continuing without pause or interruption. We've been working around the clock to meet the deadline for this massive development. The nurses worked around the clock to care for the patients during the emergency situation. The team stayed at the office, working around the clock to finalize the action before the launch. On the go. In constant activity, very busy. With his busy schedule, he's constantly on the go, barely finding time to catch his breath. She's always on the go, juggling work meetings, odd jobs, and family responsibilities daily. The portable charger is essential for anyone who uses their devices frequently while on the go. In the long run. Over a long period of time. In the long run, investing in higher quality equipment will save us more money and time. Regular exercise may seem hard now, but it will improve your overall health in the long run. It might seem expensive, but in the long run, solar panels will reduce energy costs significantly. Time is money. Your time is just as important as money. In the business world, every second counts because time is money and delays can be costly. In industries driven by deadlines, the saying, "time is money," is taken seriously by all employees. In a fast-paced corporate world, executives often believe that time is money and efficiency is key. Go down in flames. To fail spectacularly or to a great degree. Their startup went down in flames after a series of poor financial decisions and negligence. The candidate's campaign went down in flames when the scandal broke out before the election. The presentation went down in flames after the projector malfunctioned and we lost our visuals. In no time. It happens almost immediately or very quickly. If you focus, you'll have the report done in no time and can enjoy the rest of the day. In no time, the software update was installed, and the system was running smoothly again. The team worked efficiently, and in no time, they completed the project ahead of schedule. Hit the nail on the head. To describe a situation or problem perfectly. Her comments during the meeting hit the nail on the head and clarified the main concerns. His analysis hit the nail on the head, pinpointing the root cause of the company's challenges. When she described the problem, she really hit the nail on the head. That's exactly the issue. Hard and fast. Fixed and not able to be changed. The company insists on hard and fast policies to maintain consistency across all departments. He believes in following hard and fast principles, and sticking to his values no matter the situation. In the absence of hard and fast instructions, they improvised and adapted as the project evolved. Once in a lifetime. A very rare or unique opportunity. The chance to see that concert was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, something I'll never forget. Traveling to Antarctica was a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I'll treasure for the rest of my life. Winning that scholarship was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and she grabbed it with both hands. Take a shot in the dark. A judgment based on little or no evidence. We didn't have all the information, so we took a shot in the dark and hoped for the best. Guessing her favorite color was like taking a shot in the dark, but I managed to get it accurate. Without much information, I took a shot in the dark and guessed the correct answer on the test. Turn over a new leaf. To make a fresh start by changing behavior. After years of bad habits, he decided to turn over a new leaf and start living a healthier life. He promised to turn over a new leaf after his mistakes were brought to light in the meeting. This year, I'm turning over a new leaf by organizing my time better and setting realistic goals. Better late than never. Better to arrive late than not to come at all. She apologized for the delay, but we all agreed that better late than never was appropriate. They reconciled after a decade of estrangement, agreeing that it was better late than never. The report was delayed but submitted today, better late than never, her boss acknowledged. In full swing. Happening at the highest level of activity. With construction in full swing, the new office building is expected to be completed on time. By the time we arrived at the party, the festivities were in full swing, and everyone was dancing. The holiday shopping season is in full swing, with stores packed and sales happening everywhere. Read between the lines. To look for the real meaning of something. The contract looks straightforward, but make sure to read between the lines before signing. His remarks were vague, but once you read between the lines, the real message became evident. The report sounded positive, but if you read between the lines, there were signs of hidden issues. Get out of hand. To become unmanageable or chaotic. The protests started peacefully, but they got out of hand when clashes with the police began. They were worried the protest might get out of hand, so extra security was called to the scene. The situation started to get out of hand when more people joined the already heated argument. Burn the midnight oil. To stay awake late at night to work or study. To meet the deadline, the entire team had to burn the midnight oil for several days straight. Burning the midnight oil is becoming a habit for him as he juggles work and finishing his thesis. She often burns the midnight oil studying for exams, determined to secure top grades in her class. Make a long story short. Indicate that you are providing just the basic facts. After several twists and turns, to make a long story short, the event was a complete success. She started telling the story but quickly added, to make a long story short, I got promoted. To make a long story short, the project failed due to miscommunication and budget constraints. Go with the flow. To do or accept what other people are doing. Instead of planning every detail, let's go with the flow and see where the day takes us. She prefers to go with the flow, never worrying too much about things she can't control. He's a laid-back person who loves to go with the flow, no matter what the situation might be. On the dot. Exactly at the stated or expected time. The meeting is scheduled for 9 a.m., and the manager is always there on the dot without fail. She arrived on the dot for her appointment, impressing the interviewer with her punctuality. The event started on the dot, and those who arrived late missed the opening remarks entirely. Take a back seat. Take or be given a less important position or role. She decided to take a back seat and let her colleagues handle the presentation this time. When the project began to succeed, John had to take a back seat and watch the others shine. Jane was tired of always taking a back seat in decision-making and wanted to be more involved. Pros and cons. The advantages and disadvantages of something. They debated the pros and cons of moving to a larger city for better career opportunities. There are many pros and cons to social media, depending on how it's used and moderated. Before making a decision, they carefully considered the pros and cons of each investment option. Go back to square one. To start over from the beginning. After the failed attempt, we had to go back to square one and rethink our entire strategy. After months of work, the project failed, forcing the team to go back to square one again. The design didn't meet the client's expectations, so we're going back to square one tomorrow. The early bird catches the worm. Being early or prompt gives you an advantage. He wakes up at 5 a.m. every day, believing that the early bird catches the worm in business. They secured the best seats for the concert as they knew the early bird would catch the worm. She always arrives at the office before anyone else, proving that the early bird catches the worm. Turn the tables. To reverse a situation and gain the upper hand. He managed to turn the tables by using their own strategy against them during the talks. They thought they had the upper hand, but we turned the tables with a well-timed counteroffer. She was losing the debate, but a clever argument allowed her to turn the tables on her opponent. Well begun is half done. A good beginning almost assures success. With a strong start, she reminded herself that well begun is half done in achieving her goals. He organized his notes before studying, realizing that well begun is half done in preparing for exams. She set up her workspace efficiently, trusting that well begun is half done for maximum productivity. Let the cat out of the bag. Accidentally reveal the secret information. Don't let the cat out of the bag yet, the final announcement is supposed to be a secret. Someone let the cat out of the bag about the merger before the official announcement. John let the cat out of the bag when he mentioned their vacation plans in front of everyone. A blessing in disguise. An apparent trouble that finally has good results. Losing that job turned out to be a blessing in disguise because I found something better. The delay was frustrating, but it became a blessing in disguise when we avoided the traffic. Missing the concert was a blessing in disguise. I ended up spending quality time with my family. So far, so good. Things have been successful up to now. They've been dating for 3 months, and so far, so good, no major issues have come up. The new software has been running for a week, and so far, so good, no glitches or complaints. I've started the new exercise program, and so far, so good, I'm feeling great and making progress. Make a killing. To earn or have great financial success. The small cafe made a killing when it started catering to tourists during the summer months. The company made a killing by launching its new product just before the holiday shopping season. They made a killing by buying properties during the recession and selling them when prices soared. Fighting fit. To be in excellent physical condition. The soldiers were in top state, fighting fit and ready for the intense physical challenges ahead. He recovered quickly from his illness and is now fighting fit, eager to get back to his active lifestyle. After weeks of rest and recovery, she's feeling fighting fit and ready to tackle the next big challenge. Waste not, want not. Don't waste things and you'll always have enough. When we finished the project, he made sure to reuse every scrap, saying, waste not, want not. They repaired old furniture instead of buying new pieces, living by the motto waste not, want not. My grandmother always taught us to use everything wisely, reminding us that waste not, want not. Jump to conclusions. To make a decision without all the facts. Don't jump to conclusions before hearing both sides of the story and understanding all the facts. It's easy to jump to conclusions when you don't have all the information, but it's rarely accurate. They jumped to conclusions about his intentions without considering the full context of his actions. Lose your touch. To lose the ability or skill you once had. If you don't cook regularly, you might lose your touch and struggle to recreate old recipes. After years of baking amazing cakes, his latest creation shows he's beginning to lose his touch. The seasoned chef fears she might lose her touch after being away from the kitchen for months. Go the extra mile. Make a special effort to achieve something. She's known to go the extra mile for her friends, always willing to help in any situation. He went the extra mile on the project, adding details that exceeded the client's expectations. If you want to succeed, be prepared to go the extra mile, putting in more effort than required. Get down to business. To start focusing on the main task or issue. Let's skip the small talk and get down to business. There's a lot to cover in today's meeting. Now that everyone's here, we should get down to business and finalize the event's logistics. We've been chatting long enough, now it's time to get down to business and tackle the task. A penny saved is a penny earned. Saving money is just as important as earning. A penny saved is a penny earned, so she always tries to find ways to reduce her spending. By cutting unnecessary expenses, he lived by the motto, a penny saved is a penny earned. He believes in the saying, a penny saved is a penny earned, and avoids splurging on luxuries. Cost a fortune. A very large amount of money or property. They bought tickets to the concert last minute and they cost a fortune due to high demand. That custom-made piece of furniture costs a fortune, but it perfectly fits the space in our home. His medical treatments abroad cost a fortune, but they were essential for his long-term health. By hook or by crook. By any means possible, in one way or another. The thieves planned to steal the painting by hook or by crook, using any means necessary. She promised to secure the funding by hook or by crook, even if it meant working overtime. By hook or by crook, he was determined to pass the exam, studying day and night for weeks. Nip in the bud. Prevent something from becoming a problem. They need to nip the bad behavior in the bud before it spreads to the rest of the employees. If you notice any problems, it's best to nip them in the bud before they become bigger issues. The manager decided to nip the rumors in the bud by addressing the team directly with the facts. In the same boat. To be in the same difficult situation as others. Since we all failed the test, we're in the same boat and need to study harder next time. We're all in the same boat here, facing the same challenges and working towards the same goal. Whether it's financial stress or work pressure, everyone here seems to be in the same boat lately. Out of the woods. No longer in danger or trouble. After her surgery, the doctors said she was not entirely out of the woods yet, but improving. Although the project is progressing well, we're not out of the woods until it's fully completed. After the crisis passed, they felt relieved but knew they weren't entirely out of the woods just yet. Hit the jackpot. To have a big success or win a large amount. He hit the jackpot by investing early in a tech company that's now dominating the industry. If our company's stock price keeps rising, we could really hit the jackpot in the next quarter. After years of hard work, she finally hit the jackpot when her business became highly profitable. Next to nothing. A very small amount, almost nothing. She knows next to nothing about technology, so setting up the new computer took her hours. The car costs next to nothing to run since it's electric and doesn't require much maintenance. The movie's budget was next to nothing, but it became a massive hit despite the limited resources. Through and through. In every part or aspect, throughout. He's a city person through and through, never imagining himself living in the countryside. She's a loyal friend through and through, always standing by you no matter the circumstances. The team is dedicated through and through, always putting in extra effort to achieve their goals. Get the hang of it. To become skilled at something after practice. Although learning the guitar seemed difficult at first, he's starting to get the hang of it now. Once you get the hang of it, driving a manual car becomes second nature after some practice. With enough repetition and patience, you'll eventually get the hang of it, so don't give up yet. Beat around the bush. To avoid saying something directly. Instead of beating around the bush, he should address the issue directly to avoid confusion. Whenever he's nervous, he tends to beat around the bush instead of giving a direct answer. The boss doesn't like when employees beat around the bush, he prefers direct communication. Go the extra mile. To make more effort than expected. The customer service team went the extra mile to ensure our issue was resolved quickly. He goes the extra mile in everything he does, which is why he's so successful in his career. She goes the extra mile by staying late to finish work when most of her colleagues leave early. Wear and tear. Damage or deterioration resulting from ordinary use. The shoes were sturdy, but after months of daily wear and tear, they started to show their age. The house had some wear and tear, but nothing that couldn't be fixed with a little renovation work. The machinery in the factory is subject to significant wear and tear, so regular servicing is essential. Fit as a fiddle. To be in excellent health. With that clean lifestyle, it's no wonder she's always as fit as a fiddle and glowing with health. Even in his 80s, my grandfather is fit as a fiddle, still walking several miles every morning. She exercises daily and eats healthy, which is why she's always fit as a fiddle and full of energy. On the same page. In agreement or understanding with others. It's crucial for all departments to be on the same page to avoid miscommunication and errors. We need to have a meeting to ensure everyone is on the same page before we start the project. Before we proceed, let's confirm that we're all on the same page about the budget and timeline. Cry over spilled milk. To lament what cannot be changed or corrected. There's no point crying over spilled milk. What's done is done, so let's move forward. We made a mistake, but let's not cry over spilled milk and focus on the real clarification. She realized crying over spilled milk wouldn't change anything, so she focused on fixing it. Pay through the nose. To pay an excessive amount of money. Home repairs can be expensive, and they have to pay through the nose to fix the roof. She paid through the nose for that designer handbag, but she loved the exclusive brand. He ended up paying through the nose for his car's repair after the unexpected engine failure. In the black. Operating at a profit or being out of debt. He was pleased to see his personal finances in the black after paying off his student loans. After years of financial struggles, the business is finally in the black and turning a solid profit. Investors are happy when a company is consistently in the black, as it shows strong profitability. Take the high road. A morally proper way of doing something. Taking the high road in difficult situations can often lead to more positive long-term outcomes. When faced with conflict, it's often better to take the high road and avoid unnecessary arguments. Even though they were wronged, they chose to take the high road and forgive rather than retaliate. Take the bull by the horns. Deal decisively with a dangerous situation. After months of procrastination, I took the bull by the horns and started my own business. She decided to take the bull by the horns and confront her boss about the unfair workload. He finally took the bull by the horns and addressed the team's ongoing communication issues. Off the cuff. To speak or act without preparation. She gave a brilliant answer off the cuff, despite not having prepared for that question at all. The host made several funny comments off the cuff, making everyone in the audience laugh. It's impressive how he can give such meaningful advice off the cuff without any preparation. Birds of a feather flock together. People who have similar characters or interests. At the event, like-minded professionals gathered, proving that birds of a feather flock together. All the athletes hang out with each other because, as they say, birds of a feather flock together. The co-workers with the same ideas often team up, proving that birds of a feather flock together. On your last legs. To be very tired or close to failure. The old car is on its last legs, constantly breaking down, and in need of expensive repairs. After running for hours in the marathon, he felt like he was on his last legs but refused to quit. She knew her computer was on its last legs when it started crashing every time she tried to use it. In a pickle. To be in a difficult or tricky situation. She's in a pickle after accidentally sending an email meant for her boss to the entire office. I found myself in a pickle when my car broke down and I had no phone service to call for help. He's in a pickle because he promised to attend 2 different events at the same time tomorrow. Pass with flying colors. To succeed or achieve something very well. Despite her nerves, she passed the driving test with flying colors on her very first attempt. He studied diligently for weeks and passed his certification exam with flying colors and high praise. She didn't expect to pass with flying colors, but her thorough preparation clearly paid off in the end. Put on your thinking cap. To think seriously and in a focused way. We need a creative solution, so it's time to put on your thinking cap and brainstorm ideas. This problem is tricky, so you'd better put on your thinking cap before attempting to solve it. If we put on our thinking caps, I'm sure we can come up with something innovative and unique. Hit the reset button. To start something over again. He took a vacation to hit the reset button and come back to work with a clearer mindset. Sometimes, you need to hit the reset button in life and reassess your priorities for the future. She's using the new year as an opportunity to hit the reset button and focus on personal growth. Kill two birds with one stone. To accomplish two things at once. By walking to the store, I can exercise and do my shopping, killing two birds with one stone. By cleaning the house and calling my mom during the process, I killed two birds with one stone. She decided to kill two birds with one stone by exercising while listening to educational podcasts. Back to the drawing board. To start over after a failed attempt. We underestimated the budget, so it's back to the drawing board to make adjustments. We'll have to go back to the drawing board and come up with a better solution after this failure. Since the plan didn't work out, it's time to head back to the drawing board and rethink everything. Get the ball rolling. To begin or initiate something. To get the ball rolling, let's start by assigning tasks to each team member for the week. The team leader got the ball rolling by outlining the main objectives for the upcoming quarter. Once we secure funding, we can finally get the ball rolling on the structure of the new building. Hit the roof. To become very angry and start shouting. When he found out the project was delayed again, the manager hit the roof with frustration. The boss hit the roof when he found out the team missed the project deadline by 2 weeks. The manager hit the roof after hearing about the costly mistake made during the product launch. Cut corners. To do something in a quicker or easier way. They cut corners on the project, which led to major safety concerns and costly repairs later. When cooking a fancy meal, don't cut corners, or the results might not be what you expect. He tried to cut corners while preparing the report, which led to several errors and omissions. Go to the dogs. To deteriorate or decline in quality. The neighborhood has gone to the dogs with so many properties left abandoned and unkempt. The once successful restaurant went to the dogs after they changed the original menu and staff. The restaurant used to be great, but it has gone to the dogs with terrible service and food quality. On cloud 9. To be extremely happy and excited. When she heard the good news, she was on cloud 9 and couldn't stop smiling for hours. She's been on cloud 9 ever since she got the promotion she's been working towards for years. He was on cloud 9 after his favorite band signed his autograph album and took pictures with him. Pull out all the stops. Make a very great effort to achieve something. The corporation pulled out all the stops to impress the investors during the critical meeting. We'll pull out all the stops to make sure this charity event is a huge success and reaches its target. When launching the new product, they pulled out all the stops in marketing and promotion efforts. By leaps and bounds. Something is improving or increasing quickly. His language skills have improved by leaps and bounds since he started practicing every day. His skills in programming have advanced by leaps and bounds since taking that intensive course. The city's economy has developed by leaps and bounds, attracting new businesses and residents. Call the shots. To be in charge or make decisions. When it comes to family vacations, my mom always calls the shots about where we go. As the project manager, it's your job to call the shots and ensure everything runs smoothly. She's been calling the shots ever since she was promoted to head of the department last year. Under the radar. To go unnoticed or avoid attention. Despite his fame, he managed to live under the radar while vacationing in the small town. The startup managed to stay under the radar of bigger companies until they were ready to launch. They prefer to work under the radar, avoiding unnecessary attention from the public or the media. In hot water. To be in trouble or a difficult situation. He got in hot water for not following the company's new compliance guidelines closely enough. The organization is in hot water over allegations of unethical practices in its overseas operations. He found himself in hot water after missing several deadlines without notifying his boss in advance. A snowball effect. A situation that grows increasingly larger or intense. Missing one deadline created a snowball effect, causing a delay in the entire project timeline. Once the rumor started, it grew like a snowball effect, rapidly spreading across the entire office. The new marketing strategy had a snowball effect, increasing sales rapidly within a few months. Go the distance. Carry through a course of action to completion. They believed their team had the skills and determination to go the distance in the competition. She's prepared to go the distance for her career, even if it means making sacrifices along the way. They believed in their business idea so much that they were determined to go the distance with it. In for a penny, in for a pound. Firmly committed to a particular course of action. We've already invested so much time into this project, so it's in for a penny, in for a pound now. They were hesitant at first, but now it's in for a penny, in for a pound, fully committed to the plan. Once you've started the renovation, you might as well go all the way, in for a penny, in for a pound. Like two peas in a pod. Very similar, bearing a close resemblance. Those two have been best friends since childhood, always together like two peas in a pod. My twin cousins are like two peas in a pod, sharing everything from interests to mannerisms. Ever since they became friends in school, they've been like two peas in a pod, always in sync. Bolt from the blue. A sudden, unexpected event of something. His unexpected marriage proposal was a bolt from the blue. I had no idea he was planning it. Their sudden divorce was a bolt from the blue, leaving friends and family completely stunned. The news of her promotion was a bolt from the blue, as she wasn't even expecting to be considered. Have your work cut out for you. To face a difficult or challenging task ahead. She knew she had her work cut out for her when she saw the mess left behind from the party. They have their work cut out for them, trying to fix all the mistakes made by the previous team. The new CEO has her work cut out for her, rebuilding trust and improving company performance. A bitter pill to swallow. An unpleasant situation that must be accepted. It was a bitter pill to swallow when she didn't get the promotion she worked so hard for. Missing the flight due to a small mistake was a bitter pill to swallow for everyone involved. Being told I wasn't selected for the team was a bitter pill to swallow after all my hard work. Like a bull in a china shop. To act clumsily, without regard for situations. His approach to negotiations was like a bull in a china shop, and it nearly ruined the deal. His clumsy behavior at the meeting was like a bull in a china shop, causing unintended chaos. She moves through the kitchen like a bull in a china shop, knocking over everything in his path. Haste makes waste. Rushing things leads to mistakes or poor results. Haste makes waste, so it's better to take your time and do things correctly the first time. His rushed decisions proved costly, reminding him that haste makes waste in critical situations. She learned the hard way that haste makes waste when her hurried sewing resulted in a torn dress. Couch potato. Who spends most of their time watching television? He's been such a couch potato lately, watching TV for hours without moving a single muscle. Instead of being a couch potato all weekend, she decided to go hiking and enjoy the outdoors. I've turned into a couch potato during the holidays, watching endless movies and eating snacks. Call it a day. To stop working or end a task for the day. We were all exhausted, so we called it a day and celebrated our hard work with a dinner. The team agreed unanimously that they would call it a day after completing the critical tasks. We've accomplished so much today, let's call it a day and resume our work tomorrow morning. Actions speak louder than words. People's actions show their real attitudes. He promised to help, but actions speak louder than words, and he never followed through. He always talks about being generous, but actions speak louder than words, and he rarely donates. She believes actions speak louder than words, which is why she focuses on doing rather than talking. Make hay while the sun shines. To make good use of an opportunity while it lasts. The weather is perfect for planting, so we should make hay while the sun shines and start today. Now that you have the time and energy, make hay while the sun shines and focus on your studies. With business booming, it's time to make hay while the sun shines and expand into new markets. Hit the road. To leave a place or begin a journey. It's time to pack our bags and hit the road for the weekend camping trip in the mountains. After a quick breakfast, they hit the road early to avoid traffic on their cross-country drive. Once the car was repaired, they immediately hit the road to resume their road trip adventure. Raining cats and dogs. Used to describe particularly heavy rain. The storm was so intense, it felt like it was raining cats and dogs for hours without stopping. The match was postponed because it started raining cats and dogs just before the game began. When it's raining cats and dogs, driving can be hazardous due to poor visibility and slippery roads. Throw someone under the bus. To betray someone for personal gain. He quickly threw his partner under the bus when the project started to go off the rails. You can't just throw someone under the bus every time things don't go according to your plan. To avoid getting in trouble, they threw the intern under the bus, blaming him for their mistakes. Down in the dumps. Feeling very depressed and miserable. She's been feeling down in the dumps ever since her best friend moved away last month. After hearing the bad news, he was down in the dumps and didn't want to talk to anyone. He's usually cheerful, but lately, he's been down in the dumps because of work-related stress. Heart of gold. To be very kind, generous, and caring. Even though he's very busy, he always helps those in need because he has a heart of gold. She may not say much, but her actions reveal a heart of gold that always looks out for others. Despite his gruff demeanor, the old man showed he had a heart of gold by donating to charity. To make matters worse. To make the situation even more unpleasant. We missed the flight, and to make matters worse, there were no more available for the day. The project was behind schedule, and to make matters worse, the lead developer just resigned. She forgot her presentation, and to make matters worse, her laptop died right before the meeting. Give someone the cold shoulder. Deliberately ignore or be unfriendly to someone. She gave him the cold shoulder after their disagreement, refusing to speak to him for days. When I tried to apologize, she gave me the cold shoulder and walked away without a word. After the fight, he expected her to give him the cold shoulder, but she was surprisingly forgiving. Throw in the towel. To give up or admit defeat. Instead of throwing in the towel, we should consider new strategies to tackle the problem. After years of trying, he finally decided to throw in the towel and move on from his dream. It took a lot of setbacks before he considered throwing in the towel on his ambitious project. Piece of cake. Something very easy to do. The interview was a piece of cake. They asked questions I was well prepared to answer. Cracking this puzzle was a piece of cake compared to the challenging one we did last week. Solving this math problem is a piece of cake once you understand the straightforward formula. Add insult to injury. To make a bad situation worse for someone. The car was towed, and to add insult to injury, they charged an exorbitant fee to retrieve it. She was fired from her job, and to add insult to injury, she didn't receive her final paycheck. The restaurant was closed, and to add insult to injury, they didn't refund our reservation deposit. The best of both worlds. Enjoy the benefits of two different situations. This hybrid car gives drivers the best of both worlds, combining fuel efficiency with power. She has the best of both worlds, combining her love for travel with a career in photography. Working from home allows me the best of both worlds, professional success and family time. Let sleeping dogs lie. Not to disturb or interfere with a situation. He chose to let sleeping dogs lie and didn't mention his past disagreements with the boss. To avoid unnecessary drama, it's often best to let sleeping dogs lie and focus on the present. Instead of reopening old issues, they decided to let sleeping dogs lie and move forward peacefully. Break a leg. A way to wish someone good luck. You going to nail your presentation today? Break a leg and show them what you've got. As he was heading to the interview, his colleague smiled and said, "Break a leg, you've got this." Before going on stage, the director told the actors to break a leg and give their best performance. Take it with a grain of salt. Not completely believe what you are told. When you hear rumors about the company, remember to take them with a grain of salt. The rumors about the company's future should be taken with a grain of salt until confirmed. She takes his advice with a grain of salt because he's not always reliable with his information. Saving for a rainy day. To put something aside for a future time of need. He's been saving for a rainy day, putting aside part of his paycheck every month just in case. She's been diligent about saving for a rainy day, knowing emergencies can arise at any time. You never know when you'll need the extra cash, so saving for a rainy day is always a good idea. Keep your cool. To stay calm under pressure. You need to keep your cool when dealing with difficult customers, no matter how frustrating. If you can keep your cool under pressure, you'll handle the challenges of leadership much better. It's important to keep your cool in stressful situations, especially when dealing with difficult clients. Hang in there. To stay persistent despite difficulties. Hang in there during these difficult times. Soon enough, everything will start to fall into place. Even when it feels like giving up is easier, remember to hang in there and keep pushing forward. Hang in there, and don't lose hope. Sometimes, the breakthrough comes when you least expect it. Don't judge a book by its cover. Should not judge based on outward appearances. She seems unfriendly at first, but don't judge a book by its cover. She's actually warm and kind. That restaurant looks plain, but don't judge a book by its cover. The food is absolutely incredible. Don't judge a book by its cover. She may appear disorganized, but her work is always top-notch. Call it quits. Decide to abandon an activity or venture. After years of trying, they decided to call it quits and move on from the struggling business. They've been working on the project all night, but it's time to call it quits and get some rest. They finally called it quits after realizing the relationship wasn't working despite their best efforts. Hit it off. To quickly become friendly with someone. They hit it off from the moment they met, chatting as if they'd known each other for years. I was surprised that we hit it off so quickly, considering how different our personalities are. Surprisingly, they hit it off instantly and have been inseparable ever since that first meeting. Cut your losses. To stop doing something that is failing. After months of unsuccessful attempts, they decided to cut their losses and end the project. He realized it was time to cut his losses and stop gambling before he lost everything he had. Sometimes it's better to cut your losses than to invest more time and effort in something failing. A clean bill of health. A report indicating that someone is healthy. The doctor gave him a clean bill of health after the final checkup, so he could return to work. The athlete was eager to compete again after receiving a clean bill of health from his physician. Following her recovery, she received a clean bill of health and returned to work with new energy. Leave no stone unturned. Do everything you can to achieve a good result. She vowed to leave no stone unturned in her efforts to track down the missing documents. The detective promised to leave no stone unturned in his search for evidence to solve the case. They left no stone unturned in their quest to find the lost item, looking every corner of the room. Hit the nail on the head. To say or do exactly the right thing. I think you hit the nail on the head with your suggestion to streamline the progression. His comment about the team's lack of communication hit the nail on the head perfectly. During the meeting, you hit the nail on the head regarding the budget issues we're facing. Speak of the devil. When someone appears right after being mentioned. I mentioned Sarah in conversation, and spoke of the devil. She called me moments later. Well, speak of the devil. We were discussing your idea moments before you sent the email. Speak of the devil. Your name came up in conversation right before you arrived at the meeting. Know something inside and out. To know something very thoroughly. After months of practice, the athlete knows the game inside and out and anticipates every play. She knows the subject inside and out, making her the go-to person for advice on that exact topic. They know the city inside and out, so they are the perfect guide for anyone visiting for the first time. Bring home the bacon. To earn money to support a household. After closing the big deal, she knew she had brought home the bacon for the entire team. Farmers work tirelessly to bring home the bacon, ensuring their families are well taken care of. In today's economy, finding a stable job is essential to bring home the bacon for many families. Out of the loop. Not informed or up to date with current events. She's been out of the loop ever since she transferred departments and missed the updates. He was out of the loop regarding the latest changes and didn't understand the new process. Since I was on vacation last week, I feel completely out of the loop regarding project updates. Fair and square. In an honest way and without any doubt. The judge ruled fair and square, ensuring that both parties were treated justly and equally. We settled the argument fair and square, coming to an agreement that satisfied everyone involved. He lost fair and square, but he accepted the defeat with grace and promised to try harder next time. Learn the ropes. Learning how a particular job or task is done. I'm still learning the ropes of this software, so please bear with me during this project. As a new intern, you'll need to spend some time learning the ropes before contributing. New recruits are expected to learn the ropes quickly to keep up with the team's performance. Kick the bucket. To die or commit suicide by hanging. The old man was cheerful until the very day he finally kicked the bucket at the age of 90. His grandfather kicked the bucket last year, leaving behind a rich legacy of stories and wisdom. She joked about how she wanted to visit Paris before she kicked the bucket, and now she's going. Hit the sack. To go to bed or go to sleep. She decided to hit the sack as soon as the movie ended, feeling completely worn out. I finished my homework and realized it was time to hit the sack before tomorrow's classes. After finishing the task, I decided to hit the sack and recharge for the morning presentation. It's not rocket science. It's not as difficult as you might think. Cooking a simple meal isn't rocket science. Anyone can do it with a basic recipe and ingredients. The task seemed intricate at first, but once explained, we realized it's not rocket science after all. It's not rocket science. Anyone can manage the budget with a little practice and attention to detail. Take a rain check. Decline an offer but suggest doing it later. I'll take a rain check on the movie tonight because I'm not feeling well and need to rest. I have a busy schedule today, but I'll take a rain check on that coffee meeting if that's all right. They offered to go to the concert, but I had to take a rain check because of the main deadline. Hold your horses. Said to tell someone to wait, or slow down. You need to hold your horses and let me finish my explanation before jumping to conclusions. Hold your horses. We can't leave yet, we still have a few things to organize before heading out. I know you're excited to start, but hold your horses, let's double-check everything first for safety. Water under the bridge. Past issues that are no longer relevant. The argument we had years ago is water under the bridge, let's focus on the present now. After so many years, the misunderstanding between them is finally just water under the bridge. They decided to let bygones be bygones, considering the whole matter water under the bridge. At face value. To accept something as it appears to be. The deal seemed too good to be true, so I didn't take it at face value and investigated further. They accepted the offer at face value, but later realized it came with hidden costs and conditions. He appeared sincere, but I refused to take his apology at face value without seeing genuine change. Break the ice. To start a conversation in a relaxed way. To break the ice, she told a humorous story before starting the meeting's formal agenda. At parties, I break the ice by complimenting people on something unique about their outfits. The presenter told a funny story to break the ice before starting the formal part of the meeting. Chew the fat. To talk with someone in an informal way. They love to chew the fat after long days at work, sharing stories and unwinding together. Let's grab some coffee this weekend and chew the fat about what's been going on in our lives. They hadn't seen each other in years, so they spent the entire evening chewing the fat over coffee. Full of beans. To have a lot of energy and enthusiasm. She's always full of beans on Monday mornings, eager to take on whatever the week brings. After her morning coffee, she was full of beans, tackling her tasks with enthusiasm and speed. The puppy is full of beans every morning, bouncing around the house and demanding attention. Through thick and thin. Under all circumstances, no matter how difficult. They've been best friends through thick and thin, supporting each other in good times and bad. True friends stand by your side through thick and thin, no matter the circumstances or difficulties. He promised to be there for her through thick and thin, no matter what obstacles they might face. A stroke of luck. Something good that happens to you by chance. With a stroke of luck, they landed the biggest contract of their careers right after launching. Finding that rare book at the flea market was an unexpected stroke of luck for the collector. By a stroke of luck, she caught the last train home just as the station was closing for the night. Make a name for yourself. To become well known in a particular field. He's determined to make a name for himself in the tech industry with his innovative ideas. His innovative ideas helped him make a name for himself within just a few years of starting. She worked hard for years to make a name for herself in the competitive world of fashion design. Break the bank. To use up all your financial resources. They offered great holiday deals that won't break the bank but still provide high quality. You can have a great party without having to break the bank. Creativity can save you money. Planning a wedding can be expensive, but it doesn't have to break the bank if budgeted wisely. Turn a deaf ear. To ignore someone when they complain. He tried to offer advice, but she turned a deaf ear, not wanting to hear anything he had to say. The council turned a deaf ear to the community's concerns, leading to widespread dissatisfaction. They turned a deaf ear to the complaints, ignoring the growing discontent among their employees. See eye to eye. To agree completely with someone. We don't always see eye to eye on everything, however we respect each other's opinions. My boss and I rarely see eye to eye, but we manage to work together effectively nonetheless. After a long discussion, the team began to see eye to eye on the best approach to the problem. Go Dutch. Eat out with each person paying for their own. Although he offered to pay, I insisted we go Dutch so that both of us contributed equally. I prefer to go Dutch on outings with friends, as it feels more equitable for everyone involved. At the group dinner, the host suggested we go Dutch, ensuring everyone had a chance to enjoy. The elephant in the room. A major issue that is being ignored or avoided. The elephant in the room was the CEO's recent scandal, which no one wanted to address. The elephant in the room was their financial troubles, which they continued to avoid discussing. During the meeting, the elephant in the room was the looming layoffs, but no one mentioned it. Clouds on the horizon. Something that threatens to cause problems. The project is going well now, but there are clouds on the horizon with the upcoming budget cuts. They seemed happy, but there were clouds on the horizon that hinted at future relationship issues. The election campaign was smooth, but clouds on the horizon suggested future political challenges. Pull strings. To use personal connections to obtain a position. He managed to get the job by pulling a few strings with his influential contacts in the industry. She pulled some strings to get her brother an exclusive interview with the CEO of the company. She had to pull a lot of strings to secure the funding for her startup, but it was worth the effort. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's hard to change someone's habits. He still insists on using a typewriter, proving once again you can't teach an old dog new tricks. My grandfather refuses to use a smartphone, proving that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Even with all the new technology, some prefer the old ways. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Achilles heel. A specific weakness that might lead to failure. The team's defense was strong, but their Achilles heel was their inability to score consistently. Despite his talent, his lack of confidence is his Achilles heel, holding him back from greater success. Her perfectionism is her Achilles heel, as it often leads to unnecessary stress and delays in her work. Under the weather. Someone is feeling slightly ill, sick, or unwell. She's usually energetic, but she seems under the weather and hasn't said much all day. I won't be able to attend the meeting today because I'm feeling a bit under the weather. John cancelled his plans for tonight because he's been under the weather since this morning. Put all your eggs in one basket. To risk everything on one venture. Don't put all your eggs in one basket when applying for colleges. You should have backup options. They put all their eggs in one basket by focusing only on one product, and now sales are declining. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Explore multiple job opportunities before making a decision. Hit the ground running. To begin something quickly with enthusiasm. With his experience, he was able to hit the ground running on his first day at the new company. The athletes hit the ground running in preparation for the upcoming championship tournament. With a strong plan in place, they hit the ground running once the project was officially approved. Cup of tea. Something that someone likes or is good at. Horror movies aren't really my cup of tea, but I'll watch it with you if you want company. She loves rock climbing, but camping overnight in the wilderness is definitely not her cup of tea. Public speaking isn't my cup of tea, but I'm working on getting better and overcoming my nerves. Part and parcel. A basic and necessary part of something. Criticism is part and parcel of being a public figure, but learning to handle it gracefully is key. Travel delays are part and parcel of flying during the holidays, so it's vital to plan for extra time. Stress is part and parcel of preparing for exams, but proper planning can help reduce the pressure. Blow off steam. To release pent-up emotions or stress. I needed to blow off some steam, therefore I took a boxing class to release my frustration. She takes a walk to blow off steam whenever she feels overwhelmed by her responsibilities. Playing video games helps me blow off steam when I feel overwhelmed with my responsibilities. Keep an eye on. Watch a situation closely to see what happens. She had to keep an eye on her health after the surgery to avoid any further complications. We need to keep an eye on the weather forecast before deciding to host the outdoor event. We should keep an eye on the weather forecast before deciding whether to cancel the event. Hit the books. To study seriously or to focus on studies. I need to hit the books this weekend to prepare for my challenging final exams next week. He spent the entire night hitting the books to ensure he aced the important chemistry exam. She hit the books hard and managed to improve her grades significantly by the end of the term. Rise to the occasion. To perform well in a challenging situation. When the team needed a leader, she rose to the occasion and guided them to victory. He wasn't sure he could do it, but he rose to the occasion and succeeded beyond expectations. Everyone doubted him, but he rose to the occasion and completed the marathon despite his injury. Black and white. Something has been written, and not just said. The law is black and white on this matter. There's no ambiguity about what's right or wrong. The debate was presented as black and white, but in reality, the topic was much more nuanced. The contract was written in black and white, with clear terms that left no room for interpretation. Burn bridges. Ruin relationships that you need in the future. It's easy to burn bridges in such a small industry, so maintain professional relationships. You don't want to burn bridges with your old clients, as they could refer new business to you. He burned bridges with his colleagues when he left the company without a formal resignation. Sit on the fence. Wait before you choose between two possibilities. She's sitting on the fence about the promotion, unsure whether she should accept the offer. It's frustrating when team members sit on the fence instead of sharing their thoughts openly. When faced with difficult choices, some people tend to sit on the fence and avoid commitment. Throw in the towel. Give up in the face of defeat or lacking hope. After years of struggling, he finally decided to throw in the towel and close the business. He almost threw in the towel after facing repeated failures, but his passion kept him going. After losing the first round, they considered throwing in the towel but chose to keep fighting. Blow a fuse. To become very angry or upset. If the kids keep making noise, Mom is definitely going to blow a fuse and start yelling. He's usually calm, but when the project failed, he blew a fuse and stormed out of the office. Don't blow a fuse just because of a minor inconvenience. Try to stay calm and solve the issue. By chance. Without plan or intent, accidentally. By chance, I found a rare book at the second-hand store that I'd been searching for years. They met by chance at a conference and realized they had mutual friends from university. He passed the exam by chance, admitting that all of the questions were ones he had guessed on. Spill the beans. To let secret information become known. We planned a surprise party, but he accidentally spilled the beans and ruined the surprise. She didn't want to spill the beans, but her expression gave away the secret almost immediately. If you don't spill the beans about what happened, we won't be able to help you resolve the issue. Penny for your thoughts. A way of asking what someone is thinking. He asked for a penny for your thoughts after noticing she seemed distracted during dinner. She seemed deep in thought, so I offered her a penny for your thoughts to break the silence. You've been staring at the wall for hours. A penny for your thoughts about what's on your mind. Touch base. To make contact or communication with someone. I'll touch base with you tomorrow morning to confirm our plans for the upcoming conference. Let's touch base next week to review the progress of the marketing campaign we're working on. I need to touch base with my manager later today to confirm the details of the upcoming meeting. Get your foot in the door. To take a first step toward achieving something. The entry-level position may not pay much, but it's a good way to get your foot in the door. Sometimes, you need to take on smaller tasks just to get your foot in the door of your industry. Landing this internship will help you get your foot in the door for a full-time job after graduation. Live paycheck to paycheck. Being unable to meet financial obligations. Many workers live paycheck to paycheck, struggling to cover bills before the next one arrives. It's tough to save when you live paycheck to paycheck, with barely enough for daily necessities. Despite working hard, they live paycheck to paycheck, with no room for unexpected expenses. Steal the show. To attract the most attention or praise. The underdog team stole the show with an unexpected victory in the championship final. Her elaborate costume stole the show at the Halloween contest, leaving everyone impressed. The young actress stole the show with her captivating performance, earning a standing ovation. Burn the candle at both ends. To work extremely hard without getting any rest. It's hard to maintain a healthy lifestyle when you choose to burn the candle at both ends. She decided to burn the candle at both ends, balancing her job and her university coursework. He was warned that burning the candle at both ends would negatively impact his mental health. Red tape. Excessive bureaucracy or formalities. He had to deal with a lot of red tape when applying for building permits for his business. The project was delayed for months due to the amount of red tape involved in getting approval. The new regulations are full of red tape, making it more difficult for small businesses to operate. On top of the world. Feeling very happy or successful. After winning the championship, the entire team felt like they were on top of the world. Graduating with honors made her feel on top of the world. It was her proudest moment yet. Completing the marathon gave me such a sense of accomplishment that I felt on top of the world. When pigs fly. Something that will never happen. He said he'll clean his room when pigs fly, meaning it's never going to happen anytime soon. I believe you'll stop procrastinating when pigs fly, considering how much you avoid your work. Sure, she'll quit her job and travel the world, when pigs fly and money starts growing on trees. Take it with a grain of salt. To not take something too seriously. That rumor about the promotion sounds promising, but I'll take it with a grain of salt for now. You should take online reviews with a grain of salt since people can be overly critical or biased. She gave me some advice, but I'll take it with a grain of salt since she's not an expert on the topic. Off the beaten path. An area where not many people live or go. Their adventure took them off the beaten path, where they discovered a secluded waterfall. They found an amazing hiking trail that was off the beaten path, far from the usual tourist spots. While most tourists flock to famous landmarks, we prefer to explore places off the beaten path. Leave no stone unturned. Try everything possible to achieve something. She left no stone unturned while preparing for the job interview, researching every detail. We'll leave no stone unturned until we find the perfect location for our company's annual retreat. When investigating the crime, the police left no stone unturned to uncover every piece of evidence. Fly by the seat of your pants. To improvise plans and procedures as necessary. We had no time to plan, so we had to fly by the seat of our pants during the presentation. Sometimes the best adventures happen when you fly by the seat of your pants without a plan. As an entrepreneur, you often have to fly by the seat of your pants, making decisions on the fly. Talk the talk, walk the walk. To act consistently with what you say. He's not just a good speaker, he talks the talk and walks the walk in everything he does. He talks the talk about teamwork, but does he actually walk the walk when challenges arise? She encourages her team to excel, and she certainly talks the talk and walks the walk herself. A leopard can't change its spots. People can't change their basic nature. People hoped he would be more responsible, but a leopard can't change its spots overnight. No matter how much he pretends, a leopard can't change its spots, is still the same person. They tried to reform him, but a leopard couldn't change its spots, and he went back to his old ways. Better late than never. It is preferable to do late than not do it at all. The repair work was long overdue, but better late than never to avoid further damage. She submitted her application just before the deadline, thinking it was better late than never. He finally finished the job, although it was delayed. We all agreed it's better late than never. In seventh heaven. In a state of complete happiness. When they surprised her with a promotion, she was in seventh heaven, grinning from ear to ear. I felt like I was in seventh heaven when my favorite band invited me backstage after the concert. After tasting the dessert she made, I was in seventh heaven. It was absolutely delicious and perfect. On thin ice. In a risky or precarious situation. After his recent mistakes at work, he's on thin ice with his supervisor and might get fired. She's already on thin ice with the landlord, so she better pay her rent on time this month. His reckless comments put him on thin ice with his colleagues, who were already frustrated. Make waves. To cause a disturbance or create attention. The artist made waves in the art world with his unconventional style and daring exhibitions. His controversial speech definitely made waves, sparking heated debates all across social media. The new restaurant is making waves in town with its unique menu and excellent customer service. Get the short end of the stick. Having bad things happen by chance. She always gets the short end of the stick at work, taking on more tasks without recognition. When it came to the group project, I definitely got the short end of the stick on responsibilities. She felt she got the short end of the stick after being assigned the most difficult part of the project. Climb the corporate ladder. To progress in one's career, within a company. His ambition to climb the corporate ladder was evident in how he took on leadership tasks. If you want to climb the corporate ladder, you'll need both dedication and the right connections. To climb the corporate ladder, you often need to network, work hard, and seize every opportunity. Change of heart. A move to a different opinion or attitude. I thought he wouldn't go, but a sudden change of heart made him join us for the event. He initially refused the offer, but after some thought, he had a change of heart and accepted it. After seeing the positive results, she had a change of heart and decided to support the new plan. A dime a dozen. Something is common and almost worthless. Inexpensive souvenirs at tourist shops are a dime a dozen, but unique gifts are harder to find. Around here, fast food restaurants are a dime a dozen, with one on nearly every street corner. In today's world, smartphone accessories are a dime a dozen and available at every corner store. Throw money down the drain. To waste money on something useless. Purchasing trendy gadgets that break easily is essentially throwing money down the drain. I feel like I threw money down the drain by investing in a company that soon went bankrupt. If you don't stick to a budget, you're throwing money down the drain on unnecessary expenses. Bite your tongue. Make a desperate effort to avoid saying something. He bit his tongue when his boss criticized him, knowing it wasn't the right time to respond. She had to bite her tongue when her coworker made a mistake, not wanting to seem harsh. I was so frustrated by his rude remarks, but I decided to bite my tongue and let it go for now. Bread and butter. A person's main source of income. Freelance work is his bread and butter, allowing him to have a steady income while traveling. Writing articles is her bread and butter, though she's also started publishing novels on the side. Our bread and butter comes from small projects, but we're aiming for bigger contracts next year. Blow hot and cold. Keep changing the attitude towards something. His behavior blows hot and cold. One day he's friendly, and the next he's completely distant. She keeps blowing hot and cold about the job offer, and it's making it hard to move forward. Their support for the project blows hot and cold, so it's difficult to predict what they'll decide. Roll with the punches. To adapt to difficulties or challenges. Life throws challenges at us all the time, and the best approach is to roll with the punches. When things don't go as planned, she knows how to roll with the punches and adapt quickly. In a fast-paced industry, it's important to roll with the punches and remain flexible to change. Cut to the chase. To get to the point without wasting time. The presentation was dragging on, so she cut to the chase and delivered the key message. Instead of beating around the bush, she decided to cut to the chase during the presentation. After listening to the long outline, I asked him to cut to the chase and explain the main issue. Jump on the bandwagon. Join an activity that has become very popular. She didn't want to jump on the bandwagon just because all her friends were into the new craze. Everyone's jumping on the bandwagon of the latest fitness craze, but I'm not convinced it'll last. When the team started winning, many fans who had been silent began to jump on the bandwagon. cost an arm and a leg. Something is very expensive or overpriced. The concert tickets cost an arm and a leg, but it was worth it to see my favorite band live. Buying a new car will cost an arm and a leg, but it's necessary for his long daily commute. Traveling during the holidays costs an arm and a leg, so we're going during off-peak season. Play it by ear. To do something without special preparation. Instead of a detailed schedule, they decided to play it by ear and adapt as they traveled. Since the weather forecast is uncertain, we'll play it by ear and decide on the picnic date later. We didn't make any plans for the weekend, so we'll just play it by ear and see what happens. Cross that bridge when you come to it. To deal with a problem only when it arises. There's no point in worrying about future problems, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. She said they would cross that bridge when they come to it, avoiding unnecessary stress for now. Instead of worrying now, cross that bridge when you come to it and focus on the present challenge. A fish out of water. To feel uncomfortable in a particular situation. On his first day on the job, he felt like a fish out of water, completely lost and overwhelmed. Without her best friend around, she looked like a fish out of water at the party, feeling awkward. Moving to a new country made her feel like a fish out of water, trying to familiarize her quickly. Skeletons in the closet. Hidden secrets from someone's past. The company tried to hide its skeletons in the closet, but the truth eventually came out. The politician's skeletons in the closet were revealed during the intense media investigation. She was worried that her skeletons in the closet would come to light if she ran for public office. Cut someone some slack. To go easy on someone or be lenient. She's been working extra hours all week, so cut her some slack if she seems tired today. The manager decided to cut her some slack because it was her first time making that mistake. Everyone's stressed out right now, so try to cut your co-workers some slack during this busy season. Miss the boat. Fail to take advantage of an opportunity. Don't miss the boat on this deal, or you'll regret not taking advantage of such a great offer. You missed the boat by not accepting that job offer when you had the chance, now it's gone. If you don't apply for the position soon, you might miss the boat and lose the opportunity entirely. Air your dirty laundry. To discuss private matters in public. It's unprofessional to air your dirty laundry in front of clients and handle disputes privately. They had a terrible disagreement but decided not to air their dirty laundry on social media. When they aired their dirty laundry in public, it became the talk of the entire neighborhood. Pull through. To survive or recover from a difficult situation. The doctors weren't sure he would pull through, but his determination helped him recover. It was a tough surgery, but the doctors are confident she'll pull through and make a full recovery. After weeks in the hospital, he managed to pull through, and now he's slowly regaining his strength. Bite off more than you can chew. To take on more than you can handle. The new CEO bit off more than he could chew by promising drastic changes in a short time. I think you bit off more than you can chew by agreeing to lead 3 different projects at once. She bit off more than she could chew when she volunteered to organize the entire event alone. Once in a blue moon. Something that happens very rarely. I go hiking once in a blue moon, but I like better spending time at home or by the beach. He plays tennis once in a blue moon, so don't expect him to know all the latest techniques. She visits her hometown once in a blue moon, only during major holidays or family events. Time flies. This used to say that time passes quickly. It feels like just yesterday we graduated, but time flies, and now it's been 10 years. Looking back, time flies, my kids have grown up so fast, and they're already in college. They say time flies when you're having fun, and our vacation was over before we knew it. Out of the blue. Unexpectedly, without warning. He called me out of the blue after years of no contact, and it was a pleasant surprise. Out of the blue, it started raining heavily just as we were about to leave for the picnic. The chance to work abroad came out of the blue, and it changed the course of his career. Cry wolf. To raise a false alarm repeatedly. If you keep crying wolf, people will stop trusting you, even when you're telling the truth. The boy cried wolf so often that when real danger appeared, no one came to his rescue. He cried wolf so many times about being sick that no one believed him when he actually was. In the red. To owe more money than you have. If they don't find more investors, the business will remain in the red for another quarter. She was constantly in the red because of her excessive shopping habits and credit card bills. With high interest rates, many people find themselves stuck in the red with mounting debts. Down to the wire. Having a result that is not known until the end. Negotiations were tense, and the deal wasn't finalized until it went down to the wire. It was a nail-biting election, with results coming down to the wire before the final count. The job deadline was fast approaching, and everything came down to the wire for completion. Jump through hoops. Make you do lots of difficult or boring things. She had to jump through hoops to get her visa approved before she could travel for work. He's had to jump through hoops to get his insurance claim processed after the accident. The hiring process was intense, with candidates jumping through hoops to prove their skills. Busy as a bee. Someone who is very active or industrious. She's been busy as a bee all week, working on multiple projects and barely having time to relax. Between work, school, and volunteering, she's been busy as a bee, trying to balance everything. The office was buzzing with activity, and everyone was as busy as bees preparing for the big event. Go off without a hitch. To proceed smoothly, without any problems. We planned for months, so the conference went off without a hitch, exactly as envisioned. Surprisingly, the complicated project went off without a hitch and finished ahead of schedule. Despite the last-minute changes, the event went off without a hitch and impressed the guests. Bend over backwards. To work very hard to accomplish something. He bent over backwards to help his friend move, even though he had other commitments. She's always willing to bend over backwards for her family, even when it inconveniences her. I bent over backwards to make sure the project was completed on time, despite the challenges. Be on the same wavelength. Thinking in the same way as someone else. When we brainstormed for the project, it was clear that we were on the same wavelength. I love working with her because we're always on the same wavelength about creative ideas. It took a while, but eventually, the team got on the same wavelength with the new strategy. Cash cow. A business or service that makes a large profit. That blockbuster movie turned out to be a cash cow for the studio, funding future projects. Although the initial investment was high, the business quickly became a cash cow for its owners. That smartphone model has become their cash cow, making up a large percentage of overall sales. Take a load off. To take a break from stress or physical activity. Take a load off for a bit before we head out again. You deserve a break after all that hard work. After hours of traveling, we were all eager to take a load off and relax in the hotel's lounge area. Once the meeting was over, we went to the cafe to take a load off and unwind with some coffee. Get something off your chest. Express something that has been bothering you. Sometimes you just need to get things off your chest to feel better about the situation. He called me late at night because he needed to get something off his chest about work. Don't bottle up your feelings. If you need to get something off your chest, I'm here to listen. At your wit's end. To be frustrated, not knowing what to do next. The endless delays had him at his wit's end, and he was about to call off the entire project. I'm at my wit's end with this project. Nothing seems to be working no matter how hard I try. She was at her wit's end trying to juggle work, family, and her studies without a moment's rest. Break the ice. To initiate conversation or easing any tension. To break the ice, the host told a joke to make everyone feel comfortable at the party. She broke the ice with a compliment which made the conversation flow more naturally. A fun team-building activity helped break the ice among new colleagues on their first day. Fall flat on your face. To not have the result you want or expect. He was so nervous during the interview that he fell flat on his face and didn't get the job. His attempt at humor fell flat on its face when nobody in the audience laughed at his joke. He tried to impress the crowd with a new trick, but ended up falling flat on his face instead. Learn by heart. To memorize something completely. She had to learn the poem by heart because she would be reciting it in front of everyone. In order to impress the audience, the singer learned the entire song by heart in just 1 week. To improve his fluency, he made sure to learn the key phrases by heart before traveling abroad. On the ball. To be aware of what is happening. When it comes to managing deadlines, she's always on the ball and never misses a task. If you want to impress your boss, stay on the ball and be proactive about potential issues. The new hire is really on the ball, already familiarizing himself with all the company's processes. Keep your eyes peeled. To stay alert and watch carefully. We're looking for rare birds, so keep your eyes peeled while we hike through the forest. Keep your eyes peeled for the bakery on the left. It's easy to miss if you're not paying attention. Keep your eyes peeled during the presentation, as there might be a quiz on the details afterward. Upset the apple cart. To spoil a plan or disturb a situation. The surprise announcement upset the apple cart and threw all of our previous plans into chaos. We don't want to upset the apple cart by introducing radical changes without proper consultation. Their sudden resignation upset the apple cart, forcing the team to quickly adjust to new leadership. Get out of hand. To lose control over a situation. What started as a friendly debate quickly got out of hand, turning into a heated discussion. If you don't manage your workload properly, it can easily get out of hand and overwhelm you. When the discussion started to get out of hand, the moderator intervened to calm things down. The ball is in your court. It's your turn to make a decision. The ball is in your court now, so let me know what you decide by the end of the week. We presented our offer during the meeting, and now the ball is in their court to respond. They've done their part in negotiations, and now the ball is in their court to agree or counter. Up in the air. It has not yet been completely settled. My vacation plans are up in the air because I'm waiting for my boss to approve my time off. The details of the event are still up in the air, but we should have more information by Friday. The future of the company's expansion is up in the air due to the current economic uncertainty. Get cold feet. To be nervous or uncertain about something. He was ready to perform on stage but got cold feet when he saw the large audience waiting. I was all set to go skydiving, but I got cold feet and backed out just before boarding the plane. She was excited about the wedding, but she started to get cold feet as the big day approached. Put your foot down. To use authority to stop something happening. She decided to put her foot down and refuse any more overtime after months of long hours. After too much misbehavior, the teacher had to put her foot down and enforce stricter rules. The manager put his foot down when employees began missing deadlines without valid reasons. Throw caution to the wind. To do something without worrying about the risk. We threw caution to the wind and invested in the new business, hoping for a huge payoff. He threw caution to the wind and asked his boss for a raise, despite the uncertain economy. She threw caution to the wind and quit her secure job to pursue her dream of opening a bakery. The lion's share. The largest part or portion. The CEO received the lion's share of the company's profits while the employees got small bonuses. The lead actor took the lion's share of the attention, while the supporting cast was barely noticed. The eldest sibling received the lion's share of the inheritance, while the others got smaller portions. At the drop of a hat. Willing to do something immediately. She's always ready to travel at the drop of a hat, without any hesitation or second thoughts. He's willing to lend a hand at the drop of a hat whenever someone needs help with anything. My boss expects us to be prepared for changes at the drop of a hat, no matter how unexpected. Learn the hard way. To learn a lesson from your mistakes. I've learned the hard way that budgeting is crucial if you want to avoid financial troubles. He didn't listen to warnings and had to learn the hard way about the importance of deadlines. She learned the hard way that procrastination always leads to stress and last-minute scrambling. Under your belt. To have already achieved or done something. Now that you've got 5 years of experience under your belt, you're ready for a leadership role. She had several successful projects under her belt before applying for the management position. After 5 successful projects under your belt, you're more than qualified for this leadership role. Take it easy. To relax and avoid hard work or strain. Take it easy with the workout. You don't want to strain yourself and risk getting injured again. The doctor advised her to take it easy for a few weeks after surgery to ensure a smooth recovery. He was stressed out about the situation, so I told him to take it easy and not overthink everything. Against all odds. Despite very low chances of success. They managed to finish the project on time, against all odds, despite the many hindrances. He survived the illness against all odds, astonishing the doctors who had little hope for recovery. Against all odds, she recovered from the illness that doctors believed was untreatable at that stage. Cut to the chase. To go directly to the essential element. Instead of beating around the bush, he cut to the chase and addressed the issue directly. Let's cut to the chase and address the problem directly, rather than beating around the bush. I appreciate it when people cut to the chase instead of wasting time with unnecessary explanations. Keep your chin up. To remain optimistic during difficult times. When facing setbacks, it's important to keep your chin up and maintain a positive attitude. Keep your chin up during the interview process, even if the rejection letters start to pile up. No matter how many challenges you face, it's important to keep your chin up and stay resilient. In a nutshell. To summarize something in a concise way. The presentation was complicated, but in a nutshell, they wanted us to expand the project. In a nutshell, their business proposal aims to cut costs while boosting overall productivity. In a nutshell, the report shows we need to focus more on customer satisfaction and retention. The icing on the cake. An additional benefit to something already good. We already had a successful year, and landing that new contract was the icing on the cake. Winning the lottery was fantastic, and meeting a celebrity afterward was the icing on the cake. Winning the championship was amazing, but receiving the MVP award was the icing on the cake. Apple of one's eye. Someone's favorite or most cherished person. The little boy was clearly the apple of his mother's eye, receiving all her attention and praise. Ever since her granddaughter was born, she has been the apple of her eye, spoiling her constantly. His daughter had always been the apple of his eye, and he did everything to ensure her happiness. On a shoestring budget. Managing with a very small amount of money. We traveled across Europe on a shoestring budget, staying in hostels and eating street food. Starting a business on a shoestring budget can be challenging, but it forces you to be resourceful. Living on a shoestring budget, they had to cut back on luxuries and focus on the essentials for now. Penny pinching. Being very reluctant to spend money. His career took a back seat once he had children, as his priorities shifted to focus on family life. His penny-pinching habits have saved him a lot of money, but he often misses out on experiences. His penny-pinching attitude frustrated his friends, who preferred to spend a little more on quality. Rake in the dough. It means that making lots of money is easy. After landing that major client, the company began to rake in the dough with big contracts. Ever since he got promoted, he's been raking in the dough with his increased salary and bonuses. She found success selling handmade crafts online, quickly raking in the dough from loyal customers. Behind the scenes. Working or happening out of public view. The success of the campaign was thanks to the tireless efforts happening behind the scenes. It's amazing how much effort happens behind the scenes that the audience never gets to see. While the actors are on stage, a lot happens behind the scenes to keep the production smooth. Have a chip on your shoulder. To have an angry or unpleasant attitude. He's been carrying a chip on his shoulder ever since his idea was rejected by the board. He's always had a chip on his shoulder, feeling like he needs to prove himself to everyone. After being underestimated for years, she carried a chip on her shoulder in every competition. Stick to your guns. Stand by your position even though it is difficult. It's important to stick to your guns when you believe in something, even if others disagree. She refused to change her decision, choosing to stick to her guns, no matter what people said. Even though everyone doubted her, she stuck to her guns and eventually proved them all wrong. Bite the bullet. To endure something difficult or unpleasant. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and accept the consequences of your poor decisions. It was tough, but he decided to bite the bullet and start his own business despite uncertainties. After months of deliberation, she finally decided to bite the bullet and confront her fears directly. Go up in smoke. To fail or come to nothing. All the hard work he put into the project went up in smoke when the company shut down. His dreams of winning the lottery went up in smoke when the wrong numbers were called. His hopes of becoming an artist went up in smoke after he injured his hand in the accident. Make the grade. To perform well enough to succeed in something. She was worried about the project, but she made the grade and impressed her supervisor. If you want to make the grade in this competitive field, you'll have to put in a lot of effort. Not everyone can make the grade when it comes to such a demanding and competitive job. Back on your feet. To recover after illness or financial trouble. After months of treatment, she's finally back on her feet and ready to tackle new challenges. The financial aid helped the company get back on its feet after the devastating market crash. The business was struggling, but they managed to get back on their feet after a successful deal.